So I don't even know how to use this. It's interesting. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catcha? Yeah, look at that. I'll use you. You look good.
How's the build coming?
Good. Thankfully, it's almost done because we leave for Iceman in the morning.
You're gonna race that bike.
Yeah, why not?
Well, it's a brand new build and it's a completely untested frame.
It's fine. I know how to build a bike.
It's also in northern Michigan, so you have any combination of cold, rain, snow, mud.
You know what? I'll bring a jacket.
And it's a 30-mile point-to-point race, so if that breaks down, you're gonna be stranded in the middle of nowhere.
That is a good point.
I just don't think it's smart.
I don't think you're smart.
What?
Nothing.
That's what I thought.
Welcome back to the Dutchman's Den, everybody. I'm JT the Dusty Dutchman, and for the past 40 years or so, I've been making some extremely questionable decisions, including combining new bike day with race day at the Iceman Cometh Challenge. So, grab a drink, and let's talk about how it all went down. So a little bit of backstory about the bike and the race before we get started. The bike that I raced this year is a frame, carbon frame that I bought from DIY Carbon Bikes online. I did a whole video about it, which I'll link above. And the race is the Iceman Cometh Challenge, which I did a whole video about last year, which I will also link above. But it's a 30-mile point-to-point race in northern Michigan, and it always takes place on the first Saturday of November every year, and this is my 12th year in a row racing this race. All right, race day. The race starts in Kalkaska, so we usually get to the start about 7:30 in the morning. This year, it was raining, and it had rained the entire night. So by the time we got to the start, about 2.5 inches of rain had fallen. So for those of us that have done this before, we know that when it rains all night, the course is gonna be a muddy disaster. It was also 50 degrees, which was ridiculously warm. We put fenders on the bikes, number plate, GoPro, water, seat pack, went to the start line, pretty much expecting the worst.
So, how are you feeling?
This is it, brand new bike, race day and new bike day, same day. Very irresponsible.
Very irresponsible.
Very irresponsible. Did I lock out the rear suspension?
You look good. Yep.
Is it
Yep, she's good.
tight
Yep.
as it, I got it as tight as it goes?
Yep. You have an expectation today, or?
Yeah, less than 3 hours.
Okay.
It's gonna be nasty.
All right.
This race takes off in waves. There's about 40 or 50 waves every year with about 100 people in them. I was in wave 5, kind of starting at the back of the pack. We started at an airport, so the beginning of the race is just kind of working your way out of the airport. First impressions on the bike were that it felt fast. It's kind of snappy. You can feel how light it is compared to my other bikes, and pretty solid, but at this point, the whole race was in front of us, so didn't really know what to expect. All right, so this is where we get on one of the first service road sections, and this is definitely where I first noticed the benefits of the hardtail. It rides like a road bike. Like, it sustains speed really well, so I was pretty happy with that. You can definitely see the course conditions are pretty sloppy. There's mud all over the GoPro already. So the first half of the Iceman race is definitely the easy half. It goes by pretty quick. There's a lot of open stuff like this, some little bits of single track, but at this point I'm starting to realize that maybe the course conditions aren't gonna be as bad as we thought. And so far the bike is working perfect. Like, no, it's not making any sounds. It is getting pretty sandy, but it's shifting perfectly. It's completely solid. It's not making any weird noises. Feeling pretty good. Bike's working well. Haven't seen any major climbs just yet, but so far so good. All right, time to have some fun. Here we are at one of the first long sustained climbs. And as you can see, I'm not doing anything too spectacular here at this point. I'm just sitting and spinning and reaping the benefits of a hardtail. Pretty smooth and easy going, and kind of conserving a little bit of energy because this is pretty much halfway. And the second half is the hard half. All right, just over halfway through here. I'm feeling pretty good. The bike is feeling great. And so I start putting a little bit of power down, start making some passes, getting a little bit more aggressive, and it's feeling good. I'm happy with the way everything's going at this point. So this is one of my favorite parts of the course. This is the Williamsburg road crossing where there's always a big crowd. So no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, You got to put together a pass for the crowd. You got to give them what they came for. So that's what I'm doing right here. Even though I probably pay for it later, you got to give the people what they want. So to this point, the bike has been completely flawless. Hasn't missed a shift, hasn't made any weird noises. It's been good in every aspect. But this next hill was going to be its first test of me actually standing and climbing and putting some power down. This is Anita's Hill. And to make it up Anita's Hill, typically you kind of have to stand up and put your weight back in order to keep the traction rolling. And there's been plenty of years that I haven't made it up this hill, but this year was probably the easiest I've ever made it up this hill. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the bike. And here I finally get a chance to check out the bike in some tight single track, which it handled great. I was very comfortable with it. It was easy to get used to, real nimble, so exactly what I was hoping for in the single track. Was also pretty happy at this point in the race to have 2 water bottle cages because I was kind of dying at this point. So right near the end of the race, they give you this reward of this nice, long, fast, flowy downhill section, which is a great time to kind of recover a little bit for the last push. But it was also gave me a chance to really see how this bike felt at speed going downhill, and it was stable. Like I'm still kind of blown away at how well this bike worked first time out. So we're getting close to the end here, which means we're getting into my most hated part of the race, which is the icebreaker climb. It is one of the last big efforts of this race, so it's nice to know that you're almost done, but it is a brutal, brutal climb. So it's around this time that I'm starting to feel the negative effects of a hardtail frame, in that my ass hurts, like a lot. As far as hardtails go, this is probably one of the least harsh hardtails I've ridden. It definitely has a little bit of dampening compared to other geometries I've ridden, but after a couple hours, you definitely start to feel it. Now every year they change the last couple kilometers of the race to confuse everybody, so it's always really nice to see finally the 1K to go sign. And that brings us to our final climb of the day, the wood chip hill climb. And I think my buddy Mountain Goat here is cheering me on.
Dutchman! Come on, Dutchman! Go, Dutchman! Let's go, JT!
Making the last couple passes here, hopefully make them stick, because at this point in the race, there's not a whole lot left in the tank.
Yeah!
So finally made it home. The Timber Ridge campground, which is where the race ends. As you can see, the crowd's starting to fill in, and there's the best sign you could possibly see on a day like today, the finish. And at this point, the only thing on your mind is try to find some familiar faces, try to find some warm clothes, and then find your next beer.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
How'd you do? You're so fast.
I'm so sweaty. It might be the. Oh, I guess it makes sense. Very warm out here.
Yeah.
Very sweaty.
Sweatiest of all time.
Yeah. I think I went fast.
You were fast.
Yeah. I felt fast.
So results for me for Iceman 2022 was 2 hours, 4 minutes and 25 seconds, which makes it the second fastest time I've ever done in 12 years at Iceman, so I'm super happy with that. As far as results for my DIY carbon bike, I really couldn't be happier. It didn't miss a beat. Does everything I wanted a hardtail to do for me. It's light, it feels snappy, it feels fast. And I'm not a hardtail guy, but after riding this bike, I guess I'm not a hardtail guy. I mean, I know it still needs quite a bit more testing to see what kind of long-term quality we have here, but it'll get it. I'll put some more miles on it, I'll put some more races on it, and we'll find out if it'll stand the test of time. But so far, this is my new race bike. So until the next one, we'll use that as another reminder that when you get outside and get on your bike, good things will happen. See ya.
Uno, dos, tres, run!
Fine, guys. What's fine? We survived.
Now you're fine. Yeah.
We survived, boys.
Nice job.
Fine. Woo! Everybody's fine. Nice.
Lake Michigan's not even that cold.
It's pretty cold.